Hey y'all, this is Jessie, and I'm very excited to share with you my final project for Flatiron School. This is Culturefit. It is a React Redux project on the front end, and Rails is an API on the back end. And what this project does is it allows companies to create screener surveys so that they can kind of see past the paper information on a resume or on your LinkedIn profile and get a sense of more of a sense of other attributes that a person has that might make you a good fit on their team. Like if they're thinking to themselves, you know, who would be a really good fit on our team? We really need somebody who's super outgoing, or, you know, we have a lot of outgoing people on our team. Maybe we need somebody who's a little quieter, or maybe we need somebody who's outgoing to fit in with all these outgoing people. It just helps people kind of find something more specific. So, that's just what this does. It gives another set of criteria for people to look at. So the first thing I want to show you is the sign up page, which one of the things that I did was I have this confirm password panel, and right away it will give you feedback if your passwords don't match. And as soon as your passwords match, it will tell you that your passwords match. And if you try to sign up without having all of your fields in, then it will tell you that your fields have to be filled out and your passwords must match. You can sign up as a company or a job seeker, obviously, and they get two different control panels. So I'm going to sign in first as a company. And here's the sign in page. And this is a single page application. It's being routed with, I ended up using Hash Router instead of the basic React router. So you'll see it's Hash Router as router, and this is another component from router. And this is because GitHub Pages doesn't support router for single page applications. You have to use Hash Router in specific. And since I plan to deploy with GitHub Pages as my front end, I wanted to make it as compatible as possible right away. So I'm using Hash Router. That's just a tip for anybody who might be deploying a single page application to GitHub Pages. So let's sign in as company C and take a look at what we got here. So when you sign up, you have the option to create a survey. You've got the title, you got questions, you got answers, you've got attributes. So if you wanted to say, create, let's say you need a new programmer, and you're a small company. So there's all these people out there who are doing leak code forever, and they're trying to get these really clever one-line answers. And you're like, nobody on my team can read that. Okay, that makes sense. So you need somebody who like prioritizes readable code. That makes sense. So what you could do is you could create questions that have like, which algorithm would you use for this? And then your answers would have examples of like a fast algorithm, a really clever short algorithm, a really readable algorithm. And then your attribute could be readable, short, RAM prioritization, speed, stuff like that. And then at the end, it'll total their score based on these answer attributes. And you can add as many answers as you want. You can add as many questions as you want. Each of the questions can have as many answers as you want. So you don't have to have one for each of them. Noodle. So that's how these surveys work. And when you submit it, you won't see the survey. You have to sign out and sign in as a user. So we're going to sign in as Jessie. Now this is going to show me all of the surveys currently available to take. So if I want to take the color temperature quiz, I can say, which color do I prefer, red or blue? Let's see. I like red. Which color do you prefer, purple or orange? I like purple. And then you submit. Go back. And then if I sign out and sign in as the company, now obviously this isn't something that people would be doing. they would only take the quiz and then the company would look at the results. They could go to color temp and then look, Jesse, cool 1, warm 1. So they'd see that I'm like split down the second. I like cool and warm colors. There is no theme. So if they're looking for somebody who specifically likes warm colors and they have to have somebody who likes warm colors working for them, I don't know. I might not be the person because I'm kind of split down the center. You can go back. You can see there's the introvert extrovert quiz. This one has a few more questions in it, so you get a few more points going toward it. I made a Harry Potter sorting quiz. Let's say somebody is like, I need a Gryffindor. Well, currently they don't have any applicants. None. They got a Hufflepuff and a Slytherin, okay? So they're just gonna have to work with what they got. So I recommend the Slytherin. But this is how they can view their scores. So we're gonna sign out. Now we're gonna sign in on the user side again. Okay. There is a chat message board, and this is a message board. It's not a live chat. So I can, and this is using Redux Thunk for asynchronous posting. So we can say, took the color temperature quiz and submit it. And it's going to update without any kind of flashing or anything like that. And then if I sign out and sign in as company C, I can respond. Now, the thing with this quiz is that it will not like automatically refresh. If Jesse was on the other side typing back, I would have to like refresh manually. It's not just automatically updating as soon as the server gets a new call to it. So that's how that works. That's how all of these major functions work right now. I'm going to walk you through a little bit of the code at this moment. So creating the survey was a beast of a project because obviously it's all super dynamic. So we're going to take a quick look at that. So that's in my company home. And you can see it starts out with questions in the state, which is an array of objects, question, answers. Answers is an array of objects, which contains answer and answer attribute. And then if we go down to the render, you'll see that it is taking in the state questions. It's mapping over it using the index. And then it's creating like the label. It's creating the input. Then it's iterating over the answers. It's creating the label for answer and the label for attribute and the input for each, and assigning the functions, passing in arguments based on the index from mapping, both of these, which is important. And then we have an add answer button, and we're going to look at how both of these work. And there's also an add question button that is down here. So we're going to look at how all of this works. So we're going to start with the add answer and add question button are very simply taking like a template of that object and using the spread operator to push it into the state. The answer button obviously has to use the index based on what it's being passed through the parameter or passed as an argument. And then it's using that to push it in again with the spread operator and then setting the state. So that's how it's adding that. And then the state is obviously just updating it as soon as it gets that new information. The form is being updated once again, dynamically. It's using the index of these objects and it's logging them based on the event.target.value. And that's how it's handling it with all of them. So these objects up here, anytime you type on change, it's just filling them right in based on the event target. And then when you submit it, we have strong params. They have a nested object, you can see. So it's taking those in exactly as they're presented. And then we are creating a quiz using those parameters. And then if the quiz saves, we are iterating over the questions. You can see quiz data is questions, iterating over that. If the question individually saves, we're iterating over the question's answers. And then if the answer saves, we are creating the attribute. So that's how it's actually building that. Our models have quizzes, which have many questions, which have many answers, which have many answer attributes. So it's very layered. And then user attributes is a join table that keeps the score. Let's see. On this side, we have the user quiz. And this is actually building out the quiz that they're taking. So it's retrieving this from the server. And we actually had to build, I actually had to build a custom hash for this. Okay. So if I go into my model for my quiz, you'll see this is my custom quiz hash where it's actually building these out. It's pushing everything in where it needs to be so that it has the same exact structure as you saw on the front end. And then I'm taking it in with a fetch request in quiz data, actually. And then I'm iterating over that. And this is actually building this page right here. So it's taking the title, then it's iterating over the questions and printing each of these and then the answers. So then when you got that and you hit submit, it is iterating over the event target elements and it's getting the value of them, which is the attributes, and it's adding them up and it's totaling them. You can see. So we're actually creating our score that we're passing. This way we can save literally just what we need to save. So when I go to company C, as opposed to saving, that's not good. As opposed to saving outgoing 3 times, it's literally saving outgoing 3. This way I have that exact value. So it's doing all the totaling first. And that is how that works. I'll give you a quick rundown of how the chat works as well. So the chat was actually pretty easy to do. It's literally just taking in messages. You can see I've got this.props.getPost, and that is my actions here. See, I've got start adding post requests and add post requests once it's through. And that's just pulling messages from the server and message. This one right here. So you see that it'll only get the last 10. This way we're not pulling literally every message that's ever on the server, which would get a very long page very quickly. We don't need all of them. We just need the latest 10. This isn't a very busy website yet. So we have that working. And it's very similar for my handle submit. You can see it's using this.props.submit post. It's passing the username from the global state, and then it's passing the message from the local state, which is being saved with the handle change. So that's how the chat works. And that's literally my website. When you sign out, it is clearing the local state. And that's how that's working. We're using JW tokens to log in. So that's my final project. That's about it. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you.